Hi, you're listening to Trading and Investing. I'm here today just to run through the different time frames, the sort of different indicators you can use. Just a very brief outline. Again, everyone has their own strategies, things they're looking out for. I have my own. This is it. It does take time to sort of build this up. This is why, if you're fairly new to it, get yourself on a demo account. Steer clear of the market best you can. Work out which one of these indicators you like to use and stick to it. Learn it inside out, back test it, forward test it, see the next move and think, right, I believe it's going to do this. Draw a line on the chart and see which way it goes. It can't be simpler than that. Best way not to do it is to go and put your hard-earned money in. It goes the other way and you just think, well, why have I just lost? Don't learn everything through losses. Learn it by testing. So the indicators I tend to use are, the RSI is just, for me, the easiest one. Just giving a clear indication, are people buying, are people selling? You got the different time frames. Again, the minute time frame, or some people use even less than a minute. It's just wild. If you're scalping, the minute time frame is brilliant because you can see, a 10 point sort of fills the screen. Whereas, you go onto an H4, the 4 hourly, it could be 300 points filling the screen. So they all have their different uses. I tend to use, because I'm looking for slightly sort of longer trades, I tend to use the 4 hourly chart. So as much as I look at the other ones just to see what's happening, get a feel for, which way the market's moving, over the week, over the month, over the day, ultimately it's the 4 hour that I'm looking at. Then when I'm, set that this is the time, this is when I'm going in, that's when I'll start to use the smaller one. So I'll be looking at the sort of 15-minute and ultimately the 5-minute to sort of say, right, I believe that's the bottom there, I believe the bottom's in, right, next time it starts to drop, I'm going to go in. So again, I'm going in to maximize the level that I've got on my stop loss. You see all these videos online, you've probably seen 1,000 of these videos already. You must use this technique, you must follow I've come up with my own strategy. I believe it works, I believe it's safe. I give myself enough on my stop loss that, yeah, if it drops, I'm going to be upset. But what tends to happen when I hit my stop losses is the market does just keep dropping. It plummets. So I've gone into my trade thinking this is it. What I end up doing is hitting the stop loss. Then when I hit the next level down, that's when I'm like, it's gone from being a 90% thought that this is going to be profitable to 99%. And I did have my best trading day where I started the day by losing, I think, 3%, waited a few hours, again, everything caught up, bought the bottom again, and then made 12% in a day. Like, it absolutely, covered my losses and made some major gains. But again, this is all on a strategy that I've tested and tested and tested, and I, hand on heart, believe it works. I'm up over 500% since May this year. I'm just going to continue on this path. It all requires patience. So when you're looking at these other sort of indicators, just the simple alerts, don't overlook the most simple things out there. Like, rather than buying in and just sort of hoping that it goes up and, oh, I've got plenty of margin, so I'll be safe here. You know, I've done that myself. And you look back and the numbers are going redder and redder and redder, and you just think, why did I do that? You know, I just sort of thought it must come back. There's no such thing as it must come back. You know, look back at the charts, get on the daily and go to the left and look at some of these horrible drops. The market does not, it just doesn't work for you. You know, work safely. Don't just go in there unless you're investing, in which case you've got no issues with margin. If you've got a margin in your trading, do not just chuck money around. Just go in when you believe it's the right time. You've got all these other ones. You've got sort of these MACDs. You've got, like I say, there's so many online that you can sort of add into your TradingView system. You know, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. I can't go around saying that I've tried every single one and I believe this one's the best one. Like I say, just find what works for you. It's just about becoming profitable. If that means using this type of indicator, use that one. Like, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. Anyone who is just mad. Like, they're most likely tried to sell you their one if they're telling you that you're wrong. There's a reason that that indicator is a thing. It's because someone at some point, that was their edge. That was what they used. You know, join them, do it. But like I say, what I would go for is, if you want to try something out, just open up your demo account and use it. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what the demo account is there for. Just blow it, blow it, blow it. But ultimately, you want to find the one that you're like, wow, like, I predicted that entry exact, you know, and then a week later you do it again and again and again. There you go. You're finding your edge. It's working, you know. Stick to it. So you've got your charts. That's where people tend to look for indicators. There's so much stuff around you, like the whole time, you know. I'm not someone who particularly listens or watches the news, but the news, you know, back when COVID happened, you know, if I'd been watching the news a bit more thoughtfully in November, you know, November 2019, I might have thought, wow, the markets are about to take a colossal drop here, you know, but I didn't. Like most of the population, I thought, that's going on in China. It's not going to happen to us here. But lo and behold, it did. You know, that's it. Just something as simple as the news, or that can be a great indicator for these huge moves. I tend to look at, I've got VWRL. It's a Vanguard World Index product. Again, if the markets look like they're dropping and VWRL was down like over 1% on a day, I'm just going to steer clear. I'm just going to wait for this to work its way out. The last big drop on, was it August the 1st this year? VWRL, it dropped, it absolutely went through the floor. You know, I thought it was going down to even newer levels, you know, and that was a great indicator for myself that as soon as that started to steady out, I thought, that's it. It's time to go. It's time to get in. And that day, the Nikkei, I think it climbed 3,000 points in a day. Like, it's obscene. You know, this is it. It's just have a look at different ones. You know, like, let's say you've got your charts, you've got the news, you've got things like these world indexes, you know. You've also got things like VIX. Like VIX, as I've said in one of my other videos, VIX is something I use daily, certainly monthly, because VIX just doesn't seem to settle, you know. It will stay down. If VIX is down for 4 weeks, like I'm out of my trades. I'm just going to wait for the next bounce. And lo and behold, 3 days later, it's looking like a cliff. They're driving straight up a cliff, and I just think, there we go. Like, absolutely, VIX is fantastic. We're just like, get out, just wait for VIX to spike. Now we're going to start looking for some new, long entries. Like, I'm not going to lie, I tend to be fairly bullish on things. I tend to look for long positions. I've done plenty of shorting in the past. I know exactly why people do. It's fast, it's furious, it is exciting. But every time we shorting, I'd make 100, lose 100, make 100, lose 100. It just seemed pointless, So I just I found a strategy that worked for me, and it's a bullish strategy. If I can find, an edge that works in a sort of bearish manner, then yeah, I'll go for that. Then I can sort of double up on my profits. But as far as trying to keep a clear head, I just stick to one strategy at the moment. I've got a full-time job doing other things, so I don't need to be staring at a trading screen from 9 till 5. I'm quite happy logging in for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunchtime, and a bit in the afternoon if I feel like it. I tend to use alerts. Alerts is just a fantastic way of just like, I can be off doing my own thing. Oh, what's this? Open it up and it's hit the low that I was waiting for. So again, rather than like risking money because I know I'm not watching, I'm just wait for the opportunity to come to me. It's been a hard lesson to learn. If you haven't learned it already, like, expect the worst. Like, don't go in there thinking it's a 50-50. No, think that the market is after you. Think that the market wants your money. You let it come down to the level that you think this is the absolute worst case scenario it's going to get here. When that alert goes off, it's probably wiping out people's stop losses while you're looking at the screen. You go and buy in, and whoosh, lo and behold, you just made a load of profit. Find what works for you. I'm trying to think if there's any other indicators I tend to use. I think they're the sort of main ones. And, stupid as it sounds, like your gut instinct is so often right. How many times have you looked at something and thought, I reckon that's going to climb like 1,000 points, but it looks a bit risky right now. So you stay out, and then you just watch it climb 1,000 points, and you're like, oh, I could have just capitalized on that. Like, line as many of these, dots up. They never all seem to align, but if say the VWRL's doing it, you've had an alert, you've got a very strong inkling this is it. Like, that's 3 of your fundamental sort of bits inside, like, it's reassuring you that this is a good time. You're still going to use your risk management, you're still going to use stop losses, but there's just something that makes you think this is a good one. Again, I don't tend to hold positions for a long time, but depending on which indicators are lining up, let alone if they all lined up, then I'd be thinking, right, what's the longest futures contract I can get hold of? I'm just going to buy a position, get compounds ready to go, and just leave it for like 3 months. Here we go. But that's it. It's once you're in profit, that's when you can, start using these indicators to look for your compounds. It's just gone over. Right, let's go again. Let's go again. Let's go again. It's this is it. Compounding is fantastic. So, but hopefully this has helped a small amount with indicators. It was more just to say that, it's not one thing. Like some people possibly just use, alerts that they get from some guy on Telegram. If it works for them, it works for them. Some are a member of, certain groups or forums. Absolutely fantastic. I'm not against that at all. It's just a case of having that awareness that it's not just one thing all the time. And for me, the reassuring part is when you can tell yourself, like, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things are all saying the same thing. They're all saying it's about to reverse. Then yeah, you've got the confidence. It certainly helps settle your nerves. Like, we shouldn't be emotional traders, but I'm possibly the worst for it. So if I can have something that reassures me, absolutely I'm going to use it. Journaling as well. It is a way of just adding another layer of, I seem to remember this happened like 3 months ago. You can skip back in your book. Man, the chart looks exactly the same. It's just giving you that confidence that it's not even going to go close to your stop loss. You're going to put it in there, but you're just like, let's wait for that exact move. Boom, there it is. Let's go. And like I say, we're here to make money at the end of the day, not lose money. You always, always, always trade with caution. These indicators, to me, are trying to find as close to the perfect trade as possible. I haven't ever had the perfect trade, but certainly there's been lots of trades where within 5 minutes I've added like 5% on my account. I'm just thinking, I knew it. That's what it is. We're building that confidence and resilience against this market, because when you have a bad day, you just need to step away. Make the good days better. Let's use these tools to take that 5% trade, turn it into a 10% trade, or get out at 5%. Use other indicators to say, actually, I believe it's reached that level, even though my TP is up here. Things are moving elsewhere that make me believe it's going to come back, tumbling back down. So yeah, it's like I say, take your time, use these demo accounts to test things, try different things out, because I've tried lots of different ones. I've ended up in the position I'm in, and like I say, I'm quite a great believer in the system that I've got, that it's profitable. I'm just going to stick to it. So you find your one. Put in the comments. Tell me if you think, Paul, you've got to try this one, or you want to help someone else. Tell us. Like, let's discuss these things. All right. Thank you. Thanks for listening.